ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in a fresh edition of Hoist the Colors on this Thursday, April 16th. We're one day away from ECU taking on Wichita State in a three-game series, a couple days away from the ECU spring game on Friday when Bobby Harvard is in. We'll talk more about that, what we want to see in the spring game, other than no injuries, of course. But we'll dive into that on Friday's show. Looking forward to that as we're nearing the end of spring football. We'll talk some ECU baseball today. We're going to check in on our pro Pirates. We'll go around the MLB, dive into the situation with each former Pirate baseball player who is doing well in Major League Baseball, and give you the update on that here in segment 2. We'll also maybe take a look around and into the NBA playoffs, maybe even some basketball transfer portal news and notes, and also an in-depth look at what's going on in baseball across the Carolinas, along with what's happening here in Greenville with our good friend who's once again back. He is Cason Remaley, and we do this show every day, obviously, this time of year, and I got to say at times, I'm not going to say monotonous, but it's just always good to mix it up every now and then, and Cason's one of those guys who anytime I ask him to come on the show and he's willing to do it, I always get a little bit more excited, a little more pep in my step, Cason. So welcome back.
I love to come join the show. It's one of my favorite parts of my day when you ask me to come join. I love talking whatever we need to talk about, NFL, MLB, NBA, basketball. Steven, I think we've talked about everything under the sun. We've talked about NASCAR. We've talked about everything. We've talked about Airmark catered food at ECU sporting events. We've talked about everything under the sun. But looking forward to be back on the show today. Don't think I'm going to go on a James Giglio rant like he did yesterday. That was absolutely fantastic. Shout out James. Don't know if I'll do one of those, but looking forward to talking baseball, basketball, football, and whatever you guys want.
If you want a rant from me from the other night, just say that A word you mentioned again that we had talked about before, because I do have one of those.
Hey, you don't want to get Philip hangry, or else you could feel the wrath of it on the other side. Airmark, great. They honestly have provided great food at times this year in the ECU baseball press box, but I guess they were a little late for you the other day, Philip, which caused you to go hungry for a bit.
Yeah, well, we don't get fed at softball, which is fine. So I was like, I'm going to pop over to baseball and grab food. It's supposed to be there at 5 for the 6 o'clock first pitch. It didn't come till 5:25, and then they didn't have any utensils to scoop the food. And I ended up having to go and pay $10 for 2 hot dogs because I needed to PA softball. And I had to be over there early. It's like, look, we were playing state. If we were playing anybody else, it is what it is. With it coming a little late, I mean, for me, it still would have stunk. But, all of State's people are, lined up ready to eat. Their photographer wants to go down for pregame intros, and he wants food. And, there was just a lot more people in the press box than normal, and the food was 25 minutes late. And if you count utensils, it was close to 40 minutes late before we could actually get it. I was like, I had to pay $10 for 2 hot dogs. If I would have known that, I would have gotten food on the way in and paid money for something I would rather have. If I don't get fed, I don't get fed, but I need to know because I would have paid for something other than 2 hot dogs at a concession stand. I could have got more value for $10 at one of the local establishments in Greenville.
And to be clear, this was not food that you could just pick up and eat it without utensils.
No, it was mashed potatoes and chicken with good chicken that's baked, but it's you can't. It's not like I'm eating chips and I don't know, a hot dog.
So there's not as much of a James Giglio rant as on Wednesday, but still a good rant to start today's show. By the way, I did hear from sources, not even from James Giglio, just sources. I got sources everywhere apparently that because of James Giglio's rant, he was added to the ECU Burnerverse group chat on Twitter. So this is also the same group chat that said that I am Hitler, by the way. So y'all have fun in that group chat. We'll see how long James lasts. Cason, you want in on that?
Get me as far away as possible from the Burnerverse. I cannot stand that mess. I will say, of 10 burner tweets I see, one of them is normally pretty good. I will say I have laughed at a few. Some of them are pretty good, but 99% just get away from me, please.
I feel like whoever runs the Cliff Godwin burner does a solid job, but outside of that, it's very hit or miss, and it comes and goes. But
We need a Cason Remaley burner.
yeah, we do need a Cason burner. Oh gosh, now that you said that, they definitely 100% watch the show, so there will be a Cason Remaley burner about this afternoon. So looking forward to that.
No.
All right, some comments here from the chat. Davy Jones was saying that at least the money you spent on those hot dogs goes to ECU, at least some of it, but some of it also probably goes back to Airmark.
Yeah, I think most of it does. But that is a good. No, so I think the way it works, and I could be wrong, Airmark just signs a contract straight up with ECU and pays ECU. I don't think that they then get percentage of each sale. So I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't know, man. I still just I would have got McAllister's or something, man. I don't know.
All right, other things to complain about, Cason, is the on-field performance by ECU, at least 3 of the last 4 games, and it's just been this way kind of all season, man, just up and down, and look, Tuesday was – I went as a fan, and I took a few of my buddies, and we had a good time drinking a few pirate beverages, and as 4 dads getting out of the house a little bit, just having some guy time, and we stayed till the final out as a result, but I'll be honest, we did a lot more talking than watching the game because there wasn't much to watch. But your thoughts on that loss and just the continued ups and downs of this 2026 ECU baseball team?
I said the last time I came on the show a few weeks ago that I'm tired of having the same conversations of, hey, it's been a tough treading, but hey, there's opportunities coming. I'm tired of that conversation, and I think this one stings a little bit more because this NC State team is just a middle-of-the-pack average team. I mean, this NC State team does things that they've done Avon's whole tenure. They hit well, and Avon is going to run arms into the ground. That's just what they do. They just lost Jacob Duden for the season because he's a first-year starter pitching 100-plus pitches in March, which is just bizarre to me. So they lose him. Rhett Johnson, their leadoff guy, true freshman, he has been phenomenal for NC State. Luke Nixon, who homered, has been really good. But, I mean, there's just so much inconsistency on the mound for them as well as in the lineup. And losing by 7 runs at home in Park LeClaire in a sold-out crowd on a Tuesday when I have been to so many ECU games versus NC State in that stadium, and it's always packed. It's always loud. It's always ruckus. And kind of like y'all said yesterday, NC State did not seem scared to play. They looked very, very comfortable. They were like, we're here to win this game. And they did. And I've been there. I was there in the press box when Alec Makarevich made his return. Jacob Starling, I'm pretty sure, hit for the cycle that game. And Pirates like that rise to the moment. And I don't think this team has those guys. Alec Makarevich was making his return, and the storyline was taken away by Jacob Starling hitting the cycle. And that's just Pirates stepping up in the moment, in the biggest moment, and saying, hey, this game is going to be about us. This season is going to be about us. And I just don't think that is the same with these Pirates right now.
And I think that the thing that sticks out to me most about that game was, first off, I think that ball AMAC hit is still going, that home run. But also, that was an early tone setter by NC State, and ECU was just all right, whatever. I don't give a crap. Let's just answer back. And it felt like they made that error on Tuesday, and it was just oh, woe is me. We're not going to overcome that. It's almost like when this team scores early and gets momentum, they're unstoppable. But at times, we did see them rally against Charlotte, and we saw them rally in Game 3 at UTSA. But I still don't think just the mental fortitude is there just to overcome a lot of these obstacles that they're having, like the injuries and just some of the circumstances they've been put in. We've seen it at times, Cason, but it just has not been consistent enough. And maybe they find it consistently down the stretch. I don't know. We counted them out last year, and they went on a tear with many of these same players, but you're kind of running out of time.
And we can't really speak with any confidence because, I mean, you are what your record is. And kind of like last year, we counted them out, but then they go play Florida, and they beat Florida twice in regional. They run through Clearwater, and you're like, where has this been? And it's like, oh, well, they rose to the moment. Well, Tuesday was a moment where they needed to rise to the moment. Western Carolina versus West Carolina. I mean, you're getting shut out and you didn't rise to the moment. You get blanked by Carolina at home, you didn't rise to the moment. And we just did our projected field of 64, and we have East Carolina going to Tallahassee. And I mean, going down there to Tallahassee to play Florida State in a regional. I mean, you could argue that's a SEC environment, and you could, and like, it's so frustrating, Stephen and Philip, because what you said of like, they did this with the same players last year, but it's like, do we have to wait till it gets 95 degrees? Do we have to wait till we feel the magic in Clearwater? Is it just the American opponents? Is it just you don't get up for them, but then you play NC State and you don't even really compete? So it's just so back and forth. And this was a long-winded answer, Stephen, because I really don't have an answer for you, and I don't think anyone does, to be honest with you.
I think you're right. I mean, I think the coaches are searching. The players are probably doing some internal searching as well. Lane Smith in the chat says if ECU drops 2 this weekend, likely they are done. Pirates heading into the weekend, 39 in RPI, 18 strength of schedule, so the metrics are still good. But yeah, Wichita State coming in. I was doing some research on them pre-show. They are 148 in the RPI. They're probably better than what their RPI says. It's just they have played an absolutely atrocious non-conference schedule, 257 non-conference strength of schedule, and 21 of their 37 games are against Quad 4 competition. So, if you lose a game, you're going to get hurt. If you lose 2, it's really going to hurt your RPI at home. So, what's your confidence level? We also got a question from Polak, who says, should we jump off the baseball ship now or just wait till we at least drop 2 games this weekend? So a lot of negativity right now. What's your confidence level, Cason, they bounce back this weekend or just make the tournament in general? Or is it just too inconsistent to know at this point?
I think right now my confidence level, as I just said, I don't know what they're going to do. I could 100% see them go on a little run here over these next 2 weeks, and we're back RPI back in the 30s or 40s. I definitely think they will make some noise in Clearwater. I think they will win one or two games. To make the tournament right now, I'll put it at 60% at large in my opinion. I just think that we're going to go on a little bit of a run here after a dip, because I mean it's been that way all season. I mean there's been highs. You're like, oh wow, we have just won 5 straight games. We're going to Tulane. We're going to get this monkey off our back. We're going to beat Tulane. Friday happens. You don't beat Tulane. You're like, well, dadgum. Luke Payne pitched well, so hey, that's okay. Saturday, Norby does his job. Offense does his job. We win. And then Sunday, you just have it in your hands and you just let go. And then Tuesday, you're thinking, oh, we're going to bounce back, and we don't. But I think we're going to go right back up the roller coaster this upcoming week, maybe going like a 4 or 5 game win streak, and then maybe a little dip once again. Steven, I think the trend's going to continue the rest of the way, just up and down waves, flows.
Yeah.
The one thing that does give me a little bit of confidence right now is it relates to making the tournament. You're only 1 game out of second place, and I'm not saying that the 2 teams that are in first and second will 100% make the conference championship game, but with the new format, you are at a huge advantage if you can finish first or second in the conference. Now, if you do go 2 and 3, or you go 1 and 2 this weekend, that does put you in a tough spot, put you a little behind the 8 ball. But I still think between East Carolina, UTSA, and then potentially South Florida, those are the teams in this league. And South Florida's sitting down there at 6-6, even 1 game behind East Carolina right now. Yes, UAB is 8-4, but we're about to see how good they really are now that they're running into the gauntlet part of their schedule. They did drop 2 out of 3 last week. They're on a 3-game losing streak. So, if you can still find your spot in the second place, you stand a better chance even than you did a year ago at going on a run.
Don't sleep on the Rice Owls as well. They are up to 54 in their RPI, 24-14. So they've kind of sneakily, as they swept Charlotte on the road last week, gotten back into it. And the Pirates will play them and USF in the coming weeks here. So those could be big series as well. And, we got a comment from Kenny. I've kind of hit on this as well. He says, just 1 home run from Colby Wallace, 2 homers from Walker Barron, 4 from Austin Irby, and just not getting enough power. Yeah, Colby hit 10 last year. The strikeouts are down, and I wonder if that's kind of maybe affected his power a little bit. He has doubled 9 times, and he's tripled, but, we've talked about Irby a lot. Walker, I didn't really expect much power from him. That's just not his game, but I think the bigger issue is not having Braxton Trammell and Jack Bogley. But it's tough because you obviously want to have that 2-strike approach, but you also would like to get some power from a Colby or even from, some of these other guys. It's just been – it just makes you have to string things together almost every inning to have a big offensive inning.
Yeah, I mean, Braden Burris is tied for second on the team in home runs. That's not good. He weighs like 150 pounds. Now, credit to him, he's hit 4 home runs. But the issue is with everybody else is he's second on the team. I mean, props to Grady, though. I expected Grady to have a little pop, but what's he at, 7? I think right now
He's at 7.
Yeah,
Jack's
and Davin.
6.
Oh, okay. So Braden's not. I forgot about Jack, and then Davin's up there. Stop, Cason. I'm muting your mic if you do that again.
Don't make us cut
Blanking
you
up the
off.
screen. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess there's Davin too. So, but I mean, those are not the guys that we thought coming into the season were going to be the power guys. They're doing about what they expected, or maybe even a little better than they expected, which is great. But yeah, man, Irby, Colby are really the big two. Barron, I expected him to have a little bit of an uptick in homers, but I mean, if you told me at the end, he's going to end up with 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there, I'm good with that. But those are the big ones. And then, like you said, the injuries. Trammell would be an 8-home run guy, I think, if he was there. Vogley would probably be close to 10.
Here is the potential good news, gentlemen. Last year on April 15th, Austin Irby was hitting 246. Right now, he is hitting 250. And then he went on a tear. Can it happen, Cason? Are you a believer?
I am a believer because I think that with this team, like it's been over the last years I've covered the team, I mean, when it gets hotter, the balls start flying out. But to y'all's point about hitting for power, I mean, over the last years, I've just come to terms with we're just not going to be a power hitting team. We're just not going to have multiple guys hit double-digit home runs and just have hit absolute just beamers to the wall. I mean, we're just not going to do that. So I've just fully come to terms with that in my mind. So I'm embraced. Let's just keep the slap hitting going. But just take over the base pass, bunt, steal bases. Because I mean, we're not going to be a power hitting team. So I've come to terms with that. To be completely honest with you.
Maybe it's easier for him to come to terms with it, Steven, than us, because he wasn't here back when we were such a good power hitting team. He was still in high school. So Steven and I know what it can be.
Yeah. It feels a long way away from that. There's no doubt about it. All right, let's get a break in, gentlemen. I tell you what, we'll come back. We're going to take a look around ECU players in Major League Baseball. We'll circle back segment 3, talk about college baseball and the rest of the Carolinas. But we'll take a look at the pro levels and some guys putting up some good numbers to start the season between a number of Pirate players from Connor Norby to Alec Burleson, Gavin Williams, Sean Armstrong off to a good start. How close is Trey Savage to a return to a Major League mound? We'll break that down all next in our second segment. We'll be right back.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wade, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your
Loyal and bold, we're the purple and gold.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to hoist the colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
It's time for a quick check-in on some pro Pirates in Major League Baseball. I try to do this every few weeks, especially with less news coming out just from the spring football practice and more on that. And somebody did ask me in the chat, they want news on ECU basketball incoming transfers. Well, as soon as we get some news, we'll pass it along. We are monitoring some visits on Hoist the Colors for our VIP subscribers, but really not too much to discuss, so they start getting some commitments. Although we did see the return of Nick Mattson, assistant basketball coach, so that's potentially some big news. Cason Remaley here with us on Thursday's show, Philip Pilkin as well. We'll start with Trey Savage, who has yet to pitch in an MLB game this season, gentlemen. He just made his latest rehab start on Wednesday, and the good news is he went 4 1/3 innings, and not official yet, but should be in line, as I think he threw over 70 pitches to make his MLB debut next week. Now, if he stays on normal rest, he should be back for some time in the Angels series, which begins Monday, runs through Wednesday, and the Blue Jays are not off to a great start. Currently 7-10 on the season. I personally, Cason, am going to limit my expectations a bit with Trey, just given the fact he's building up, but I'm excited to see it back on the mound again. It's just, I do hope Blue Jays fans have more of a realistic expectation for him, given how last postseason went.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't think he's going to be like he was in the postseason this past year. I mean, he's working his way back up, ramping his way back up. But at the end of the day, though, guys, he's an absolute dog. This ECU team needs more dogs like Trey Savage. Looking forward to seeing what he does for the Blue Jays. I've been kind of monitoring as well, as I am a Fairweather Blue Jays fan because of Trey Savage. So I kind of been monitoring this a little bit. When he does make his appearance, I will be tuned in and hoping he dominates.
Also sticking on the Blue Jays, Jeff Hoffman, clearly on the back end of the bullpen. 1-1 with a 4.32 ERA. He does have 2 saves. His strikeouts-walk ratio is great. 18 strikeouts through 8 1/3 innings, 5 walks, 10 hits allowed. But I don't know if he's going to lose the closer role yet. He did blow a save against Milwaukee last time out on April 14th. Toronto did find a way to win that game, but at the same time, this has kind of been, he was inconsistent last year as a closer. He's blown 3 saves already, or been charged with 3 blown saves through, I think, just a handful of games, Philip. So Toronto's pitching is not great right now, but Hoffman, I'm hoping he kind of locks in here and becomes a little more consistent. It's almost like it's either all or nothing for him at the back end of games right now.
Yeah, it's kind of how it's been. It seems like over the last few years, it's kind of streaky. But honestly, this franchise seems to be a little bit streaky. So, look, you and I and James were talking about this yesterday. There's just so many teams kind of plagued right there in the middle of the standings. You don't really have an outlier team down at the bottom. You do have one outlier team at the top. So I think teams are still trying to get their footing. I don't know if this is, one of our theories is the World Baseball Classic, kind of just making guys after, 3 games in. It's like, well, we just played for our country a month ago, and now this is game 3 of 162. So I think once the year goes on, it'll get better. Look, if you're a career 3 ERA guy, then you're going to have a 3 ERA, right? But you're not necessarily going to have a 3 ERA over every 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks, I guess, because actually we're at 3 as of today of your season. So it's just part of it. I think Sean's still a really good pitcher, and the consistency will come.
All right. Sean Armstrong has been excellent. 9 appearances, 1-0, 2.0 ERA, 8 2/3 innings pitched, 8 hits allowed, 12 strikeouts to 5 walks, 3 straight scoreless outings. The 35-year-old has really carved out a niche. The back end of bullpens, just kind of moving around these last few years. He's been just super consistent, and he's been one of the Guardians' top arms over the season. So good to see Armstrong doing well. With the Rockies, Zach Agnos has pitched 6 times. He has a 6.75 ERA. He's another guy. It's been either really good or at times kind of bad. He's thrown 6 times. He's allowed multiple runs in 3 of those 6 appearances. He did throw a scoreless inning against Houston on Tuesday. He did have a save earlier this season. 9 1/3, 13 hits, 9 strikeouts, 5 walks. So the one thing that I've noticed with Zach Cason is when he walks a guy, he typically tends to get in trouble. So still trying to – I think the other thing that's tough for him is like the Rockies have used him in multiple roles because it's the Rockies and they're not the best run organization, but still cool to see Zach out there anytime he takes them out.
Yeah, just like you said, 9 strikeouts to 5 walks. And I also, like you said, like if you're not in a consistent role, it can kind of mess with you a little bit, as it is with the Rockies, as they have been just a very interesting organization over the last few years. But just on Zach, I mean, every time he's on the mound, he's going to step up there and compete. He's going to give it his all. He's going to have some swagger. He's going to have a great mustache as well. And I'm going to say the same thing I said about Trey Savage. We need guys like Zach Agnos who are willing to put it all on the line for his team. He did whatever he needed to do for ECU, whether that was play shortstop, come in relief pitch, do whatever needed to get done. Really proud of Zach, one of my favorite ECU baseball players of all time. Really cool that he is a relief pitcher in the big leagues and was the best shortstop we've had, and couldn't tell you how long.
A very long time, that's for sure. Going into back to the pitching side, Gavin Williams, 2-1, 2.38 ERA over 4 starts. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but just phenomenal strikeout numbers and hits allowed. He's 22 2/3 innings pitched, 29 Ks, 10 hits, but 16 walks. The walks have prevented him from going super deep in games, but he's been good and almost impossible to hit through 4 starts for the Guardians. So cool to see him and Sean Armstrong pitching well. Alec Burleson, I watched a good amount of the Cardinals game yesterday. They were playing the Guardians. Burleson, by the way, had a hit off Gavin earlier this week. But Burley had a 2-run single up the middle. Classic Burley, 0-2 count. Kind of just slaps it up the middle for a 2-run single. 279 batting average, 3 doubles, 2 homers. OPS near 800. The most startling thing about Burley, 11 walks, 8 strikeouts. He's hitting .357 in his last 7 games. And, he did strike out a couple times yesterday. He looked absolutely ticked off that he struck out, which I love because, I know he prides himself on putting the bat on the ball. But, Philip, for me, if you're walking more than you're striking out at the Major League Baseball level, that's – even in this small sample size, that's insane to me. That's a skill set not many guys have these days.
Well, it comes back to what you mentioned there with that 2-run single up the middle. So often nowadays, guys are so prideful that they have to pull every baseball, or they've got to swing for the fences on every pitch if they're any sort of a power hitter. Burley plays the game the way the game was played 40 years ago. If he gets a pitch down and away, he takes it the other way. He is not an arrogant, prideful baseball player. And when you have that kind of approach and you can choke up on the bat a little, keep the bat head in the zone, and you just want to put the bat on the ball, that stat happens. So, yes, is it a skill set, Steven? Yes, but I think also it is part of a mindset, and it shows the maturity of Alec Burleson. And look, we need more guys like that. This is I'm not going to take up too much time on any other stuff to get to. This is a Western Hemisphere issue with baseball players. You see it with American-born players, and you see it with the Latin American-born players. But when you watch the Asian-born players hit, they don't do this. I was watching a game yesterday, and Masahiro Ishida, 0-2 count, and just kind of slaps the ball wherever there wasn't somebody sitting. If that would have been an American or a Dominican or a Mexican or a Venezuelan-born player, they would have tried to pull the ball. It wasn't a pullable pitch. They would have dribbled it back to the pitcher. It would have been a double play, but it wasn't. And Burley plays the game the way the game's supposed to be played.
And a lot of that, I'm sure, goes back to the ECU plate approach as well. I mean, how much do we see them shorten up with 2 strikes and try to punch the ball in play? So that plays a big role in his development. Speaking of former Pirate hitters, now in the big leagues, Connor Norby has been on a tear. He's hitting 400 over his last 7 games on the season. He's hitting 273, 5 doubles, 2 homers, and 852 OPS. He's been playing first and third. The Marlins, led by Clayton McCullough, 9-10 with a +2 run differential through 19 games. So a lot of interest with the Marlins. The weird thing about Norby is they were going to plan to use him as a platoon bat against left-handed pitching. He's actually hitting better versus righties. He's got all 5 of his doubles and his 2 home runs against right-handed pitching. So I don't really know what the plan will be going forward once they get one of their injured guys back. But it's good to see Norby hitting and getting legit playing time, Cason, because you want to talk about a dog and a guy who, if he played for ECU right now, wouldn't let what happened the other night fly. He's always just hit, man. He just needs consistent ABs, and he's going to produce. I have 100% faith in that.
He is just an absolute hit machine. As you said, at 400 last 7 games, the guy just gets on base. The guy is just a magnet to the bases. He's an absolute dog. And I'm going to say it again, just like you said it. ECU needs more guys like this. And, hey, we got basketball players that played in the NBA come back to college basketball. Can we get Norby and Burley and Trey for a weekend? Just like one weekend. Just one weekend. Can we get them all?
I'm down. Why not?
We could use it, man. We could use it. I mean, at this point, the NCAA ain't going to do anything. Come on.
Exactly.
Why not just try it? Might as well get Mackenzie Gore, Mike Trout, and Logan O'Hoppe as well. As I got a text from Pirate Al who says, went to the Yankees game last night against the Angels. Got to see ECU signees Mike Trout and O'Hoppe homer along with Aaron Judge. So, yeah, Mike Trout turning back the clock, playing like prime Mike Trout the last few days at Yankee Stadium. So there is your MLB check-in, Pirates in Major League Baseball. We did get a comment from Scott Lorbatcher, Cason. He wants to know your thoughts on the return of Nick Mattson to the ECU basketball staff.
I think it is an interesting hire for sure. I don't think I've ever seen in college basketball of my days rehiring an assistant. I think it's an interesting one. Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Also, I don't know if it's a coincidence that they have no commits either as well, but hey, we'll see. They're going to start coming in soon.
To be fair, most of the Blue Bloods don't have a commit yet, so.
I think it's just yeah, I mean, there's a process, but I would hope we at least know something by the end of this weekend. And there's a pecking order. But, look, I would love to be able to cover the portal. ECU just doesn't have a ton of money in men's basketball to spend on transfers right now. I mean, it's just – and even with that, with the lack of success off last season, there's a pecking order, and I think it'll be till next week or late this week we hear something. But we'd love to hear something. And once we do, we'll break it down. We'll break down the whole roster. Just like me and Cason did years ago when we were talking about Caleb LeCount and Valentino Pinedo. And expectations for Cyril Longa. Gosh, Ben Baela. What a time that was. Scottie Pippen Jr. All right, we got to get out of here to get a break in, I should say. We'll come back. We'll get the latest from Carolina Curveball and the power rankings. Where does ECU sit? Where do they sit now after Tuesday? Sean who's on track to make a regional from the region. We'll break that down next.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Cason Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
In Eastern North Carolina, people appreciate things that are straightforward, honest, and dependable. For decades, our team has focused on cutting through insurance complexity for the communities we serve. And now, we're bringing that same mindset to our name. We're Flatlands Insurance Group, a simpler name that reflects the same local team, the same values, and the same commitment to the great communities we feel blessed to be a part of. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world is covered.
At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
We're live with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
Segment 3 here, Hoist the Colors. We've got Cason Remaley from Carolina Curveball, who covers not only ECU, which is his alma mater, but also programs across the country. And you guys also just or across the region, I should say, and you guys just released your field of 64 for college baseball across the country as I look at the Carolina Curveball Twitter page now. Philip Hilkinen also with us. You do have ECU in the projected field, Cason, as a 3 seed in Tallahassee, as you said. As you look through the Carolinas right now, ECU firmly on the bubble. Who else is on the bubble right now in this region?
Are you talking about in the Carolinas?
Yeah, Carolinas, yeah. If they're like Clemson, I know has had a poor season.
I would say Clemson is on the bubble. I'd say they're on the outside looking in right now, but then again, like we've said, in the ACC, you have better opportunities than a team like ECU. I would say they are on the bubble for sure. And I think that I may be reaching here a little bit, but I think if Campbell goes on an absolute tear like they have been, they may get in at large because they're, I think, 16-2 in the CAA right now. And maybe if they absolutely go on a scorched earth tear, they can maybe get a at-large bid. We have them as a 3 seed in the Conway Regional. I mean, this Conway Regional is insane. You got Coastal, Wake, Campbell, and Wright State. Wright State has been tricky for teams in the past. They knocked off Vanderbilt last year in the Vanderbilt Regional, which was pretty bizarre to think about. we also have High Point as a 3 seed in Chapel Hill, which is an interesting one. NC State as a 3 seed in College Station. And like I said earlier about NC State, like this is just such a middle of the pack ACC team where one day they're going to be really good. The next day they could get blown out and lose to a team like UL Monroe, like they did earlier in the season, as well as Princeton. They lost 1-0 to Princeton, but then they can come to Greenville and beat ECU 10-3. So it's really all over the place, but this is my favorite time of year, starting all these projections, kind of projecting on where these teams are going to fall.
What has happened to UNC Wilmington? Looking at your power rankings now, they're all the way down to 12. I know they had a tough road swing starting with ECU. I guess they just have not played well.
No, they have not played well. This past weekend, they actually played Campbell. They won the Friday night game. We're like, oh wow, they may take that series and kind of contend in the CAA. But then Campbell just tightens up and wins the series. But they've had a tough stretch of midweek games. I know they played ECU, like you said. They've played NC State as well as UNC. When you play ECU, NC State, UNC, 1, 2, 3 in midweeks, it's not going to be tough. And then also sandwich Campbell in there. And they did lose a series to Stony Brook 2 weekends ago, which was not good at all. I mean, they lost the first 2 to Stony Brook, which means you cannot have that happen. But I will say, though, Stephen, the CAA tournament is at Brooks Field. Wilmington is hosting it. So maybe there is a little magic there for them playing the conference tournament on their home field, which is interesting in its own right. But also what's interesting is Campbell and Wilmington are the top 2 teams in the CAA South. They play again because in the CAA you play twice in your conference, league, division, whatever you want to call it. They play them right before the conference tournament in Wilmington. Campbell, Wilmington, and then 4 days later, the conference tournament is in Wilmington. And I mean, talk about home field advantage for Wilmington, but also for Campbell. I mean, you're just going to play a 3-game series there, and then you're probably going to run into them again. You're probably going to play Campbell 4 times in a week, which is going to be tough, but also like the opportunity presents itself. But Campbell up and down. I mean, Wilmington up and down, but Campbell has been on a really good path.
How do they seed that tournament, Cason? Are they going to do like a, they've got the North and the South division. Do you only play your division in the tournament and then there's a championship game of the North and the South winner, or do they seed everybody based off full on?
I honestly have no idea. Me and Braxton have been trying to keep up. The Big South has changed their tournament format every single year. I think the CAA has done it as well as, if I'm not mistaken, the American changed their tournament as well this year. So I mean, everyone's changing conference tournament. So I apologize, I don't know, but I mean, it changes like the wind. I feel like every single year.
Yeah, I'm trying to check the website real quick. It says the conference will be separated 2 divisions, and it says the 2 teams. Gosh, there's a lot going on here. Yeah, I don't know. I have to do some research. Maybe I can read it during the break. I don't want to have to read the whole paragraph and a half during the show, so I'll try to figure it out. James Giglio does want to know what's the status of an ECU conference tournament watch along, and would Cason be up for participating? So a lot would depend on the schedule, what seed ECU gets. I should be down for participating and doing it once again. There's an outside shot. I'll go to Clearwater this year. There's also an outside shot if the Denver Nuggets make a deep playoff run. I could look at traveling to Denver for a playoff series, but that's way too far down the line to predict. So I don't know. I'm down if you guys are.
I will 100% do a watch along. This would be the 3rd straight year of
3
watch
years in
alongs
a
for
row.
me. So I would 1000% do it if the time lines up. I'll do it for sure.
All right, well, we'll try and make that happen. Scott Lordbatcher says, hot take, conference tournaments in baseball are dumb and everyone should do a 4-team regional format. I don't hate that as well.
Yeah.
This year, the standings for ECU will be critical because if you're a top 2 seed, you basically get a bye to the, semifinals almost or something like that, maybe quarterfinals, and then, the further down you are, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're having to play a day earlier. Another team in the Carolinas who is basically completely fallen apart, Cason, that you saw in person in Clark LeClaire Stadium at a game you covered is Charlotte. They were riding high after taking a series from South Florida. Since then, they have been awful. They got swept by ECU, beat by North Carolina midweek, swept by Rice, and beat by Clemson. They have lost 8 games in a row. Your guy, Robert Woodard, what's going on in Charlotte, and is there any hope of turning this around as they head to UTSA this weekend?
It's very tough sledding down there for them. Charlotte sitting at 18-8 right now. As you said, the 8-game losing streak. I mean, at one point, they were one of the hottest teams in the Carolinas after beating Virginia. They went on a really good stretch where they went 3-1, 3-0, 4-1 in three straight weeks. We're just like, wow, they're very good. Dawson Bryce has been out for them, going to be out for a little bit longer. Carson Bain retired from baseball for them earlier in the year. Just kind of a wacky year. And then they do have some guys on the mound. And then when they're on the mound, they're either really good or really bad. We saw that at Clark LeClaire Stadium in Greenville. But I really don't know what to say about a team that lets up 11 runs in an inning to a conference opponent. I mean, I think that is just absolutely bizarre. But I will say the talent is definitely there on this team. I mean, if you can beat Virginia and you beat ECU, if you can hang with ECU, I for sure thought that Friday game that game was over when they were up 7-2, and I think that kind of just crushed them. And I think that was a season-defining moment if you won or lost, and they lost. And Steven, ever since that Friday game when they were up 7-2 and blew it, I mean, it's just been a snowball avalanche the whole way down.
They're still, 88 in the RPI, but they finished with at UTSA, at FAU, Tulane, at UAB, and then Memphis. I mean, they legitimately might miss the conference tournament. Now, FAU and Memphis are ahead of them by a game, but, I mean, that would be pretty crazy fall from grace. So we'll just have to keep monitoring the 49ers, which, by the way, Lane Smith says he's in for a watch-along. I think that would add a lot of entertainment, honestly, if Lane Smith joins the watch-along. I'm down.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess the good thing is the watch-along is not technically on radio, so that'd be my worry with Lane. But I'm trying to remember, I don't think we kept it strictly FCC regulated during previous watch-alongs.
Yeah, I mean, we just generally said, look, if you're going to say something, just try to keep it to somewhat of a, just don't get out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, we allowed some of that shenanigans, so to speak. So, don't let your kids watch if Lane's on, but we'll give a warning ahead of time. But we'll see. We'll say I'm all for it, man. As entertaining as we can make it, let's do it. Conference tournament watch-along. And we'll make some fun happen. Scott Lorbatcher wants to know if there'll be some pirate beverages. Why not? Let's have a good time. We'll have a good time.
Ubering home from the watch-along, baby.
And a 999 challenge.
All the way to Mebane.
Yeah, there you go. Do the true 999 challenge. Last time we just did Dom Kasoki got the 9 hot dogs in 9 innings. Now we got to add some beverages on top of that. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. We will wrap up the show after these messages.
Get ready to bring on the savings at Greenville Toyota with major deals on brand new Toyotas like a Camry, $229 a month, or RAV4, $279 a month. Now's your turn to save at Greenville Toyota.
In Eastern North Carolina, hard work matters, and it always has. At Flatlands Insurance Group, we've been showing up for our neighbors since 1963, helping families and business owners navigate change, weather tough seasons, and keep moving forward. Decades later, our purpose hasn't changed: to help protect what you've poured your time and energy to, from your home to your health to whatever comes next. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world covered.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in color. and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Bring on the savings with new Toyotas from $159 a month at Greenville Toyota. Get huge discounts like Corolla's $159 a month or Tacoma's $249 a month. Save today at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken, or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
The Pirates play here.
Time to play the game!
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment here. And we did get clarification for those that do care about the CAA Conference Baseball Tournament. It says the top two teams from each division, based on conference winning percentage in all games, will qualify for the 6-team CAA Championship at UNC Wilmington. And the other two tournament participants will be the teams with the highest RPI rating at the end of the regular season, but did not finish first or second in their division. So basically, they'll take the top two teams in each division, and then whoever has the highest RPIs after that. So
I don't hate that. That's encouraging teams to play really tough out of conference schedules. You know, kudos to whoever made that decision.
CAA making big moves to try to protect their top teams. I'm for it. Lane Smith, by the way, says he's going to keep it PG, and he's in for the 999 challenge. And Scott says he can do the 999 challenge as well. So we'll have to bring some trash bags for that day.
Scott, you got to drive in.
Yes, yep. But the Hurricanes have, by the way, they've announced their Game 1 start time. Saturday, April 18th at 3 o'clock will be Hurricanes Senators. They have not announced Game 2, but the Game 1 start time right in the middle of ECU spring football game and ECU baseball. So there's
and
that.
your Denver Nuggets game.
Yep, Denver Nuggets play at 3:30 Eastern. So a lot going on Saturday afternoon. I did have potential tickets to go to Game 2, but if it's going to be Monday night, I can't make it because Slater's first T-ball game is happening. Cason, are you in on the NBA playoffs or the NHL playoffs? How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm all the way in on the NBA playoffs. I have been pretty locked in going into the playoffs the last month of the NBA season. Really looking forward to the NBA playoffs. Going to fill out a playoff bracket once it ends. Tomorrow, absolute electric Hornets game. Honestly, I'm not going to say, it was a great game, but it was a drunk game. That game was absolutely bonkers. Unbelievable watch. So crazy. Then Steph Curry last night turning back the clock, still proving that he can do it. And hey, I hope that they can beat the Blazers and then they can take a game. Right? No,
the Thunder.
Suns.
Suns. Yeah.
And then really looking forward to the playoffs. Looking forward to your series the most right now. That's my number one series to watch right now. Number two, hopefully if the Hornets win, will be Hornets Pistons. That'll be absolute madness.
Yeah, the Anthony Edwards yesterday said, "Me and Denver is a great rivalry." Not even the Timberwolves in Denver. Anthony Edwards versus Denver, one of the best rivalries in the NBA. Who, obviously the Thunder are the heavy favorites, and the Celtics are favored in the East. Cason, give us your prediction, way too early prediction on who makes the finals, and then maybe a dark horse or an outside pick to win it.
I'm going to chalk it up because it's what I think it's going to be. I think the Thunder make it to the finals. I think they're just really, really good. I mean, just defensively, they're so good, and they have maybe the MVP. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that in front of you. I think Joker should win the MVP, but he definitely could win the MVP as well. And on the East side, I mean, I think it has to be Boston. I mean, this was supposed to be a gap year, and then Jaylen Brown was absolutely outstanding. Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and then Jason Tatum comes back. You don't know how he's going to look, and he looks like absolutely phenomenal. And then you drop him in with this lineup, and then when you got guys like Baylor Shireman having these type games, and it sealed me. Oh, sorry.
Are you good?
Finish your thought real quick. Get a couple seconds.
Yep.
You're good. Celtics over the Thunder, NBA final.
As long as the Thunder don't repeat, I'll be happy. I hope the Nuggets can do it, but it's a tough path. Casey, appreciate you, man. We got to get out of here on this Thursday. Thanks to Philip. We'll be back Friday to preview the Wichita State series and the spring game. Goodbye.